What's up, everybody? Unrested back here again for another Osoroshii Saturday. If you're joining me, that means you're in for your weekly dose of the ghosts. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who once said, you need to do something every day that scares you. Do one thing a day that scares you, and that is why you are here. You are getting your dose of that one thing that scares you every day, and for you, that will be Osoroshii Saturday. We're gonna start off today's video with some Toshidensetsu manga. And if you don't know what Toshidensetsu is, it's the Japanese word for urban legend. The manga that you're gonna be seeing here is written based on actual Japanese urban legends. So it is based somewhat in reality, somewhat in myth. That's up to you to decide. Come along. Our first manga starts with a young girl about to go to bed when she sees a small boy waving to her from below her apartment. He slowly rises up to an unimaginable level, eventually hovering in the air, and this is due to the fact that he is a suicide ghost that has jumped from the building's rooftop and now haunts the very windows of that apartment complex. Next up, we have a very strange little story here. This is one where two guys walking on the street after a night of drinking see a woman they want to talk to. When they go to approach her, one man who is part of the neighborhood says, "Don't go check out what she looks like, because when you finally do, you find out her face is made of straw." Now, this face made of straw is actually a voodoo doll, the equivalent to a voodoo doll in Japan, and that's because you drive nails through these to cause injury to your foe. Now, next up, we have what's called Grandpa's Ochan, or the Ochan ghost, which is a ghost based on what is considered Japanese aesthetics. Usually, a tightly slit eye here in Japan is considered ugly. Now, that's not something I've come up with myself. Don't call me a racist. This is actually something based on Japanese facial aesthetics. A flat face or a face with very tightly slit eyes. In this case, one that has actually had them reversed from horizontal to vertical, making for a very creepy looking ghost. Next up, we have two kids playing in a park when one of them, while playing a game of hide and go seek, or the equivalent thereof, goes to hide inside an abandoned warehouse. Now, inside this abandoned warehouse, he finds himself a ghost that is seemingly a disembodied or floating head. And only the head. There's no other part of this body to this ghost, and this is usually due to the fact that the floating head ghost is connected to ghosts which are hung or have committed suicide by hanging, and they become a floating head ghost because the body itself is literally floating off the ground when it's actually hung by the neck. Now, next up, we're dealing with a really weird story, supposedly based on mountains out near Chiba, and these mountains apparently had what look like faults in them that look like cracks that shape the human body. And apparently when people would go into these, that they would be pushed through these cracks or stuck in these cracks to the point that they could never actually get out of the mountain. Now, people had theories on these being traced back to some kind of primitive tribe way before even things like samurai in Japan. And apparently if you were able to find one of these and step into it, when you came out the other side, the form of the human body had become so deformed and misshapen that you would be a horrible, monstrous version of yourself. Very creepy little tale, if I say so myself. I don't have the full comic on here, but I highly recommend you check out the rest if you can find it online. I myself could not, and I apologize for that. Anyway, creepy manga. This is called The Things That a Ghost Told Me. It is very roughly translated, so I'm going to run into some problems sometimes when I'm reading this. Just bear with me. Last night I dreamed about a child ghost. According to the ghost,
the ghost you see in the dream is often a real ghost. So the ghost is telling her that when she sees this ghost in her dream, that this is what it means. It's a little bit confusing. He also said ghosts love quiet places, so they often appear in houses with only one person living in it. That's why he appeared in my house. So what should I do when they do appear in my dream? They have no intention of scaring the inhabitant, apparently, but only want to do things like watch TV together. Interesting. But it seems like ghosts sometimes unintentionally let themselves be seen at the moment of appearing and disappearing. Therefore, for example, at the moment when the human switches off the TV to get ready for bed, ghosts may try to disappear, and in the process of doing so, its image is sometimes inadvertently reflected on the TV screen. If the human happens to be looking towards its direction, then the ghost tries best not to betray its presence. But if the human persisted in looking suspiciously into the direction of the ghost, they would be dismayed and think that it had been spotted, and it would stay hovering around the human until she or he falls asleep. What should we do? I personally think that the thing about the ghost in the dream being a real ghost might be true, because they say you never dream things you haven't experienced in real life, and you cannot see faces that you haven't seen in real life. Although you can dream things you have seen in horror movies, so it might be that. And the child ghost also said, when you wake up halfway through dreaming about an encounter with a ghost, that ghost too comes to the real world, and you will be able to catch a glimpse of them for a brief second. If that happens in the middle of the night, no harm will be done to you, but if it happens when the sun is already up, the ghost, for reasons I do not know, will turn demonic, and before long, you will be cursed to death, or something terrible will happen to you. So pretty much a baby ghost in a dream, teaching her about different ways you can see ghosts, and what it means when you do see them. Very creepy little detailed story, very roughly translated and very hard for me to read, so I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, we have another story from Nichan, Japan's ex-paranormal site here for equivalent to Yonchan, which was invented in America to copy Nichan. This took place in a house I'm living in now. The place where I live has no histories of hauntings, and my family have lived on the same land for generations, and that is why I never imagined such a terrifying thing could happen to me. But recently, whenever I'm sitting in the room of the living room, day or night, I hear a woman humming in a low voice, At first it sounds so far away, and I have to strain my ears to catch the sound. But if left as it is, it gradually gets louder and louder. If I still continue to ignore it, it becomes loud enough that I can hear it without even concentrating. So what I always do is, whenever I notice the sound, I chant the last part of the Heart Sutra. This is the only prayer I know. Anyway, I chant the part where it goes, Gyate Gyate, repeatedly. The Heart Sutra is a famous sutra in the Mahayana Buddhism. It is often cited as the best known and most popular Buddhist scripture of all time, in case you didn't know. In such a place as this, I can never concentrate on watching TV. The time when the humming starts is totally random, and if I don't start chanting the Heart Sutra as soon as I hear it, it sometimes even ends up entering into other rooms of the house. The other day, a new album of my favorite band was released. I was so looking forward to listening to it. When I finally bought it at a shop, I was really excited. Immediately, I went home and used the headphones to listen to it. When I finished listening to all the tracks, I took off the headphones with deep satisfaction. And it was just then, from right next to my ears, I heard, Well, today I got something kind of special for you. I have a special guest on. It's his last day in Japan. The Cajun Gaijin went off to a scary little abandoned amusement park here in Japan. One of the places listed on crack.com as one of the scariest sites in the world. Nara Dreamland, which is now a totally defunct amusement park. And he's going to talk to you now about some of the creepy stuff he saw. You're going to watch some footage from when he was there, along with some pictures of how creepy the area's become. Come along and let's look.
Osoroshii Saturday. Brother. So, I bet you're wondering, where's Scott? And who the heck is this guy? Well, my name's Cajun Gaijin, and I have been invited to special appearance, special guest on Osoroshii Saturday because I recently went to Nara Dreamland. And what's Nara Dreamland, you might ask? Well, Nara Dreamland is an abandoned theme park in Nara City. Nara Dreamland opened in 1961, just after Disneyland opened in California, and essentially was a direct ripoff of Disneyland, like to the T. So like if you look at it from an aerial view or you look at their map, it was set up almost just like Disneyland. And so it was essentially Disneyland, but like smaller and lower budget, for if you want to take that for what you will. However, in 2006-7, like towards the end of the year, they closed down because of USJ, Universal Studios Japan, opening in Osaka, which was only maybe a 45-minute train ride away. Well, to Osaka, I guess to get to Universal Studios would take longer, but essentially 45 minutes away in another big city was a brand new theme park. So all of the stuff at Nara Dreamland was pretty outdated already, you know, it was getting old and dilapidated, so people just didn't want to really go anymore. And so they ended up closing because they had a lack of tourism, just a lack of people coming into the amusement park. Many people said they closed because of copyright infringement, but that's not true because they weren't being prosecuted from America. Like nobody was saying anything, nobody even noticed. And I've seen photos of like direct copy to the T of Disney attractions, but I didn't personally see any Disney attractions per se in the park. But I did see like the castle looks very similar to the Disney castle, which I have a nice photo of, and some things like that. So you guys definitely have to check that out. And so that, you know, without further ado, you guys should definitely check that out. Oh, but I want to say, Nara Dreamland, I went here, and you shouldn't go. So technically, it's like at your own risk kind of thing, because going into Nara Dreamland is technically illegal. Like, so you have to jump the fence and stuff to get in there. So there's a couple of things that you risk going in. Technically, I guess you could say breaking and entering. And in Japan, there is a fine for trespassing. So there's that. Many of my friends, when I told them I wanted to go, were like, "Oh no, don't go to Nara Dreamland. It is a terrible idea." And I was like, "Well, why?" They said, "It's dangerous. You could be hurt." Now, these are Japanese friends, mind you. It's dangerous. You could be hurt. I was like, "Well, that's a good idea. I'll take that into consideration." Then many people told me, well, it's very dangerous because of the security there. And if you look online, other people who have gone and explored, they say it's dangerous because the security is like really hardcore. Like they're just dangerous security guys. However, when I mentioned it to one friend that I wanted to go, he was like, "Don't go to Nara Dreamland. It's dangerous because there's ghosts." And I said, "Wow, ghosts? I don't know. That sounds kind of crazy because nobody's told me anything about ghosts yet." He said, "I'm telling you, there's ghosts there and you don't want to go." So I don't know if he was trying to scare me off or if it was really true, but I guess, you know, it's interesting. Maybe you guys are going to have to see what happens. So here we are at Nara Dreamland. There was this really creepy Viking themed ride that had like these Vikings jumping off the top because they were trying to commit suicide. That was really strange. I don't know. But next was my most interesting ride, I think, the Jungle Adventure Cruise. And here, I took a picture of the, I guess you would say, adventure captain. He had like this face that had been removed, and I was backing up from him to take a picture, and something touched my shoulder, and I thought it was a ghost that my friend was telling me about, but it turned out this bird had touched my shoulder with his leaves. Really weird. But all these weird boats had just sunken over time because I guess, neglect or whatever. But I took a picture of the area where they were before, like how it used to look, so you get an idea for how beautiful it was and how it become. Now here, the screw coaster was one of the main attractions, and it looks really nice, I guess, from some areas, but there was this alpine mine in the front that was just really creepy looking, man. And then I got a nice picture from inside the screw coaster that the sun was rising because I was there at like maybe 5 a.m. Now here's what I was telling you about. The map of the place. It looks almost like Disneyland. There was this other area of, how can I say it, water park that looked like a Greek bathing house. Really, really creepy. All these statues were just like falling apart. And I kept hearing all these strange sounds around. Like the cicada were really loud, but I kept hearing all these other weird, strange noises. I guess could be animals, or it sounded like someone was walking around. I don't know how to explain it. Here I have a picture of the castle, and when people were walking around, and then the actual castle as it is now. You can see how it kind of looks like the Disney castle. Also, I have a picture from before of the merry-go-round and now of the merry-go-round, and it just one of the creepiest attractions, maybe, I think, with the horses are falling apart, all the paint's coming off. Man, the horses, just those really creeped me out, man. And here you can see I just think that the pictures, the people's expression is really macabre. The haunted house, the witch, there's a really wicked looking witch at the haunted house. I couldn't go inside because it was really like falling apart inside. So all I could really get were pictures from the outside. But I thought, man, it's really neat looking. And here I went inside of a building that was all opened up. And inside there was this drink that had gelled over. It was really strange looking. And the bent fork there looked really weird. But here, what inside looked almost like a meth lab. I don't know, like this bed looked like someone might have been sleeping there. I got too creeped out. I couldn't stay in here anymore. I had this really weird feeling come over me. So I left and I went to the arcade game area, and they had all these old Disney stuffed animals laying about. And I took up this picture of the air hockey table, but there was no air. This guy here, he was having a really bad day. No arms, getting overgrown. Too bad. I got this picture of the bobsled from inside the arcade game area. Really neat. And here is a nice panorama of Asuka, the biggest wooden roller coaster in Japan. Or I might have found the world. I'm not really sure. Go back. Open the door. Go back out. Open the door. Like you're coming in. This would have been a good place to sleep, man. This would have been a good place to sleep. All the doors are locked. Face. Classic. Oh wow, look at the game center. Oh no, dog, we gotta go inside there. We gotta go in here. It's a freaking game arcade. Look, duty, DDR. There you go. Oh, somebody spray painted it, man. That's messed up. Oh, you spray paint DDR. Paint DDR in Japan. Man. My backpack. Oh, this is just a UFO catcher room. Damn. This isn't a good room. Where? Really? Stuffed animal? Oh my god, they even have Disney stuffed animals. Yeah. Do you want them? Same dream picture. Do you know how much money people would pay for some of these games? This is incredibly freaking famous, man. Sure. Like this. Oh, someone came and moved this one a lot. Check this out. You okay? This is pretty awesome, man. I played these games as a kid. Not a kid, but like in high school, I played these games. Well, technically being in high school as a kid. This is not so bad, actually. just here. Hold on, what's today? Watch out. I want to get a picture. Well, it tells you it doesn't work. There's a sign that says it doesn't work. Bumper cars now. What kind of camera is this? Magical 9-door. Someone already unlocked the door? You're welcome. And we're here, we can take a picture of the mountain. What is that? From the glass? Nice, man. That was really expensive, man. 600 yen. Here was open too.
somebody put a dog in the toilet.
Well, that about wraps it up for today's Osoroshii Saturday. I gotta say, Adam and I, the Cajun Gaijin, recording these videos had some weird stuff going on when we were doing these here in the house. We kept having doors closed, which it's not totally unlikely to have happen in your house, because a lot of times if like the air condition kicks on or if another door's open, it'll suction the other one closed. But it was happening with our sliding doors, which is a little bit strange. It is super windy out today, and we have been dealing with a lot of storms recently, so it could just be weathering that's having all this happen to us, but it was a bit creepy as we were trying to record. Nonetheless, I want to thank the Cajun Gaijin for joining me today and helping me make this great video. It is a perfect example of someone sharing or volunteering their awesome stories with me here on Osoroshii Saturday. Guys, if you have anything else like that or other stories you want to share with me, I am totally open to it and would love to feature you here on the channel. Until next time, I am Unrested, and this is Osoroshii Saturday.